Close your eyes and let the gentle whisper of the wind carry you back in time. Imagine the scent of dust and sweat hanging heavy in the air, the murmur of a vast crowd, a distant hum, a low thrumming beneath the vibrant tapestry of the Roman Empire. Tonight, we journey into the heart of the arena, not to witness the brutal spectacle, but to understand the lives of those who fought within its sands, the gladiators. We will explore their world, not with the harsh glare of battle, but with the soft glow of a storyteller's lamp, unveiling the multifaceted existence of these warriors, often misunderstood, sometimes lionized, always fascinating. This is not a tale of bloody triumph alone, but a journey into the lives of men, and sometimes women, forged in the fires of discipline and shaped by the whims of fate. We will trace their paths, from humble beginnings to the rigorous training grounds, from the thunderous roar of the crowd to the quiet reflection of a life lived on the razor's edge. We will delve into the intricate details of their existence, revealing a world far richer and more complex than the simplistic image of brutal combat often conjured. Tonight, we will unravel 25 threads of the gladiator's story, each a facet of this multifaceted existence. We'll discover the origins of the gladiatorial games, exploring their social and political context within the Roman world. We will learn about the rigorous training they endured, the physical conditioning and weaponry mastery that transformed them into fearsome fighters. We'll witness their battles within the arena, the strategies employed, the triumphs and defeats, and the agonizing injuries they sustained. Beyond the arena's dust and blood, we will uncover the social realities of gladiator life, their surprisingly varied social statuses, from slaves to freedmen and even celebrities. We'll examine their religious beliefs and practices, the superstitions and rituals that imbued their lives with a profound spiritual dimension. We will contemplate their relationships with their families, their trainers, their fellow gladiators, and the patrons who sponsored them. We will explore the potential for freedom and wealth, the possibility of achieving a level of respect and even social mobility, a stark contrast to the often depicted image of hopeless servitude. We will also confront the darker aspects of this world, the constant threat of death, the brutal realities of training and combat, the casual cruelty of a Roman system that often valued spectacle over life. We will delve into the lives of those who survived, those who found a way to transcend the brutal reality of the arena, and those who perished within its confines, leaving behind a legacy of courage, skill, and a life lived under the unforgiving gaze of the Roman Empire. We will examine the types of gladiators, their specialized fighting styles, and the weapons they wielded, from a net and trident of the retiarius to the sword and shield of the murmillo. We will explore the diverse backgrounds of these warriors, tracing their origins from across the vast Roman Empire and understanding the diverse paths that led them to the arena. We'll even consider the role of women gladiators, their participation in these games, and the challenges they faced in a world dominated by men. And finally, we'll contemplate the enduring legacy of gladiators, their impact on Roman culture, and their continued fascination in the modern world. So, breathe deeply. Let the gentle rhythm of my voice lull you into a state of peaceful awareness. Let the ancient world unfold before you, not in a cacophony of violence, but in a tapestry of stories, woven together to reveal the complex and often surprising lives of the Roman gladiators. Let the journey begin. The flickering lamplight dances across the rough-hewn walls of a Roman prison, casting long shadows that writhe and twist like the tormented souls within. Many gladiators found their path to the arena not through choice, but through the harsh hand of Roman justice. For them, the roar of the crowd wasn't a spectacle to be anticipated, but the chilling prelude to a fight for survival, a fight they never asked to fight. These were the condemned criminals, their lives forfeit to the whims of the law and the insatiable appetite of the Roman populace for bloodshed. Their crimes varied, a spectrum of offenses reflecting the complex tapestry of Roman society. Some were convicted of petty theft, their desperation leading them down a path of transgression that ultimately sealed their fate. Others faced accusations of more serious crimes: assault, murder, even rebellion against the state. The legal processes were often swift and merciless, leaving little room for defense, for mercy, or for appeal. A simple accusation, often fueled by personal vendettas or the machinations of powerful figures, could be enough to condemn a man to the arena. Imagine the weight of despair settling upon these men, the chilling realization that their lives were no longer their own. They were stripped of their identity, reduced to mere numbers, their names lost in the vast bureaucratic machinery of the Roman Empire. The condemned were herded together, a motley crew of thieves, murderers, and rebels, their differences swallowed by the shared fate that awaited them. Their pasts, their hopes, their dreams, all faded into insignificance, replaced by the stark reality of their impending doom. There was little comfort in the prison's grim confines. The air hung thick with the stench of sweat, sickness, and despair. The sounds of weeping and hushed prayers mingled with the rhythmic clang of chains, a constant reminder of their captivity. Sleep offered little respite, haunted by visions of the arena's brutal reality, the flash of steel, the roar of the crowd, the sting of pain. The condemned had little recourse, their pleas for mercy often falling on deaf ears. The Roman legal system, while complex, offered little in the way of clemency for those deemed dangerous or undesirable. Their fate was sealed, their only hope residing in the fickle favor of the crowd, a hope as fragile as a butterfly's wing in a storm. The idea of a fair trial, or even a semblance of due process, was often a distant dream, replaced by the cold certainty of a violent end. Consider the weight of this knowledge, the crushing despair of knowing that your life is forfeit, your future a predetermined journey to the arena. Consider the fear that must have gnawed at their souls, the constant dread of the unknown, the uncertainty of whether they would survive the first encounter or the next. Their lives, once brimming with potential, were reduced to a single, terrifying event, a moment of truth played out under the scorching sun, before a bloodthirsty crowd. Their stories are often overlooked, lost in the shadow of the more celebrated gladiators, those who rose through the ranks through skill and ambition. Yet, their lives were just as real, their struggles just as profound. They were the forgotten faces of the arena, their courage and desperation often overshadowed by the spectacle of their demise. Their stories, though tragically brief, remind us of the brutal realities of Roman justice, a system that often prioritized entertainment over fairness, spectacle over salvation. Their silent screams echo through the ages, a poignant reminder of the human cost of power and the devastating consequences of a system that valued life so cheaply. Their paths to the arena, paved with injustice and despair, serve as a stark contrast to the carefully crafted narratives of glory and triumph, reminding us that even in the heart of the spectacle, the human story remains. The clash of steel echoes faintly, a phantom sound from a battlefield far away. But the echoes linger, not just in the air, but in the hearts of those who survived. For many gladiators, the path to the arena began not in the cells of a Roman prison, but on the blood-soaked fields of battle, where defeat meant not death, but a far crueler fate, enslavement. These were the prisoners of war, their lives forfeit not to the law, but to the whims of conquest. Picture them, a diverse tapestry woven from the threads of many cultures. Gauls with their fierce spirit, their bodies bearing the scars of countless skirmishes. Thracians, renowned for their skill with the curved scimitar. Numidians, masters of light cavalry, their movements as fluid and unpredictable as the desert winds. Each man carried within him the weight of his history, the memories of his homeland, his family, his life before the chains bound his wrists. Their worlds, once vibrant and alive, were now reduced to the harsh realities of Roman captivity. The journey to the arena was often long and arduous, a brutal pilgrimage that stripped them of their dignity and their hope. Imagine the cramped confines of a transport ship, the stench of sweat, sickness, and despair clinging to the air like a shroud. The sounds of weeping and despair, the constant fear of violence, the gnawing hunger, all serve to erode their strength, both physical and mental. Arrival in Rome was a descent into a different kind of hell. The bustling marketplace, the grandeur of the temples, the imposing structures of the city, all served only to highlight their own powerlessness. They were stripped of their weapons, their clothing, their identity. Reduced to numbers, they were herded like cattle, their individuality lost in the vastness of the Roman Empire. The gladiatorial schools were a crucible, forging men. They learned to rely on each other, to support each other, to find solace in the shared burden of their fate. Their native skills and fighting styles, honed in battles far from Rome, often gave them an edge in the arena, a glimmer of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. Consider the psychological toll of captivity, the constant fear of death, the gnawing uncertainty of the future. Imagine the longing for home, the aching absence of loved ones, the memories that haunted their waking hours and invaded their sleep. Their stories are not just tales of combat, but narratives of resilience, of the human spirit's ability to endure even the most unimaginable suffering. The sounds of the arena, the roar of the crowd, the clash of steel, these were the sounds that marked their days, a constant reminder of their fate. But even in that brutal environment, there were moments of defiance, moments of unexpected triumph. These prisoners of war, stripped of everything, fought not only for survival, but for a shred of dignity, a flicker of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. Their silent strength, their quiet defiance, speaks volumes about the human capacity for endurance, a testament to the indomitable spirit that even captivity couldn't extinguish. Their stories, though often lost in the grand narrative of Roman conquest, remind us of the human cost of war, the profound psychological impact of enslavement, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The roar of the crowd fades, replaced by the gentler whisper of the wind rustling through the long grass of a forgotten battlefield. We turn now from the grim realities of captivity and forced combat to a less common, yet equally fascinating aspect of gladiatorial life: the freemen who voluntarily chose this perilous path. These were not men condemned to fight, not prisoners of war, but individuals who, for reasons both perplexing and compelling, traded their freedom for the brutal life of a gladiator. Imagine a young man, perhaps burdened by debt, or ostracized by his community, or simply driven by an insatiable thirst for glory and renown. He might have been a skilled warrior, seeking to hone his abilities and test his mettle against the fiercest opponents in the empire. Or he may have been drawn by the allure of wealth, the possibility of amassing riches beyond his wildest dreams through victory in the arena. These were not men driven by desperation, as were the condemned or the enslaved, but by a complex mix of ambition, desperation, and a thirst for something more. The decision to become a gladiator was not taken lightly. It was a profound act, a renunciation of the safety and stability of a normal life, a conscious choice to embrace a life of violence and uncertainty. It required immense courage, a willingness to gamble everything on the unpredictable whims of fate and the fickle favor of the crowd. For freemen, this act carried a significant social stigma. While gladiators held a certain level of respect, particularly those who achieved great renown, they were still considered outliers, men who had stepped outside the accepted norms of society. The path of a freeman gladiator differed significantly from that of his enslaved counterparts. He was not subject to the same brutal discipline, though the training remained rigorous and demanding. He entered into a contract with a lanista, a gladiator trainer, who acted as his manager and provided him with training, equipment, and a share of his earnings. This was a business arrangement, a gamble on the freeman's skill and the crowd's favor. Success meant wealth and fame. Failure could lead to injury, poverty, and a swift end. Think of the camaraderie among these men, a brotherhood forged not in shared hardship and captivity, but in a shared ambition, a common pursuit of glory and fortune. Their lives were intertwined, their destinies bound together by the shared risks and rewards of the arena. They trained together, they strategized together, they faced death together, a bond far stronger than mere association. The motivations of these freemen were as varied as their backgrounds. Some might have been driven by an almost reckless courage, a desire to push their limits and prove their worth in the face of mortal danger. Others might have been spurred by a thirst for recognition, a desire to escape obscurity and achieve lasting fame within the vast Roman Empire. Still others might have been driven by financial necessity, seeing the arena as a path to wealth and a better life for themselves and their families. Their stories are often lost amidst the grand narratives of Roman history, yet they represent a fascinating facet of gladiatorial life, a testament to the diverse motivations and complex personalities of those who entered the arena. Their choice to become gladiators, though uncommon, highlights the allure of fame, fortune, and the intoxicating thrill of combat. It reveals a different side to the gladiatorial world, one where personal ambition, rather than forced servitude, drove these men to face the dangers of the arena. The freeman gladiators offer a compelling counterpoint to the narrative of forced servitude and captivity. Their lives illustrate the agency, the choices, and the calculated risks that some individuals were willing to undertake to pursue their goals, however dangerous and unconventional those goals may have seemed. Their stories are a reminder that the gladiatorial world was not simply a realm of forced brutality, but a complex social and economic system that attracted individuals from all walks of life, driven by a diverse array of motivations. Their legacies, though less frequently recounted, are an essential part of the complete story of the Roman gladiator. The sun rises over the bustling city of Rome, its golden rays barely penetrating the gloom of the ludus, the gladiatorial school. Within these walls, a different kind of life unfolds, a world of sweat, blood, and relentless training. This is not a place of leisure or comfort. It is a crucible where men are forged into weapons, their bodies honed to peak physical condition, their minds steeled against the relentless pressure of impending combat. The day begins before dawn, the air thick with the scent of sweat and the sounds of grunting exertion. The gladiators, still shrouded in the darkness of the pre-dawn hours, rise from their rough straw pallets, their bodies aching from the previous day's exertions. The routine is simple, brutal, and unwavering. It begins with a grueling regimen of physical training designed to build strength, endurance, and agility. Each movement is precise, each repetition measured, each muscle pushed to its absolute limit. Imagine the rhythmic thud of bare feet on the packed earth floor, the clang of metal on metal as wooden swords clash, the rasping breath of men pushing their bodies to the brink of exhaustion. This is not mere exercise. It is a relentless pursuit of physical perfection, a process of transforming flesh and bone into instruments of war. Their training encompasses a variety of disciplines from hand-to-hand combat to swordsmanship, from wrestling to the use of various weapons, the gladius, the sicca, the rete, and facina. Each gladiator specializes in a particular style of fighting, honing their skills through countless repetitions and sparring matches. The lanista, the owner and trainer of the ludus, oversees the entire process, his keen eyes observing every detail, his voice a constant presence, barking instructions and corrections. He is a taskmaster of the highest order, demanding perfection and unwavering discipline from his gladiators. He understands that their lives and his profits depend on their ability to survive and win in the arena. His methods are often harsh, his discipline unforgiving, but his goal is clear: to create the most effective fighting force possible. After the morning training session, the gladiators are given a simple but carefully regulated diet. Their meals are designed to provide the necessary fuel for their intense physical activity, but they are far from luxurious. Their diet is primarily composed of grains, vegetables, and legumes, supplemented by small amounts of meat. Their food is plain and unseasoned, with little attention paid to culinary artistry. This is a diet of function, not pleasure. Its purpose is to sustain their bodies, not to indulge their palates. The afternoon is devoted to honing their fighting skills. They engage in sparring matches, testing their techniques and strategies against each other. These are not friendly contests. They are brutal encounters, where the clash of weapons echoes through the ludus, and the air is thick with the tension of combat. Wounds are common, and even death is not unheard of in these training sessions. The ludus is a dangerous place, a constant reminder of the life or death stakes involved in their profession. In the evening, the gladiators are given time to rest and recover. But even this time is not entirely free from discipline. They must maintain their physical condition and their fighting readiness, for they are always preparing for their next performance in the arena. Their quarters are cramped and Spartan, the air thick with the smell of sweat, blood, and unwashed bodies. Sleep is a precious commodity, a brief respite from the ceaseless demands of their profession. The ludus is a world of its own, a microcosm of Roman society, reflecting both its brutality and its inherent order. It is a place of relentless discipline, where every aspect of life is geared towards preparing gladiators for their ultimate destiny, the arena. The gladiators' lives are defined by their rigorous training, their carefully controlled diets, and their harsh living conditions. They live and breathe combat, constantly preparing for the moment when they will step into the arena and face their opponent in a fight for survival and glory. Their lives are a testament to the strength, endurance, and resilience of the human spirit, a constant struggle against the brutal realities of their existence. The echo of their training, like the ghost of steel on steel, lingers in the quiet of the night. The rhythmic clang of steel onward echoes through the ludus, a constant percussion accompanying the gladiators' relentless pursuit of mastery. Weapons training is not merely a component of their education. It is the very essence of their existence. Each gladiator, regardless of their origin or class, undergoes a specialized training regimen tailored to their assigned fighting style and the weapons they will wield in the arena. The gladius, the iconic short sword of the Roman legionary, is a staple weapon for many gladiators. Its training demands precision, speed, and control. Imagine the gladiators, sweating under the Roman sun, practicing intricate footwork, parrying blows with wooden replicas, their movements a fluid dance of lethal grace. The focus is not just on brute strength, but on calculated strikes, on exploiting openings, on the art of killing with efficiency and precision. The weight of the blade, the balance, the feel of the hilt. These are details mastered through countless hours of practice. Each thrust, each parry, each riposte is refined, honed to perfection. The Murmillo, a heavily armored gladiator, relies on a different approach. Their training emphasizes strength and endurance, as they wield a large, heavy sword and a substantial shield. Picture the slow, deliberate movements, the controlled power behind each swing, the unwavering defense offered by the shield. Their training is as much about physical conditioning as it is about combat strategy. They learn to endure fatigue, to withstand blows, to maintain their position and advantage even under relentless pressure. Their training is a testament to their resilience and brute strength. The Retiarius, in stark contrast, is a master of agility and speed. This lightly armored gladiator wields a net and a trident, relying on quick strikes and calculated maneuvers to overwhelm their opponents. Their training emphasizes speed, dexterity, and precise throws. Imagine the quick, darting movements, the precise casting of a net, the controlled thrust of the trident. Their training is a symphony of controlled chaos, a display of agility and precision. They're the dancers of death, their movements fluid and deadly. Beyond the gladius, trident, and net, the ludus also houses a variety of other weapons. The sicca, a curved dagger, requires a different technique altogether. It's a weapon of stealth and surprise, used for close-quarters combat, demanding quick, precise thrusts and cuts. The secutor, often pitted against the retiarius, might wield a gladius and a smaller shield, emphasizing a more mobile and aggressive style. The training for this class demands a blend of speed, defense, and decisive offense. For each weapon, the training is meticulous. Gladiators learn not only the proper techniques for wielding their weapons, but also the strategies for engaging different opponents. They spar against each other, testing their skills and learning from their mistakes. The lanista and his assistants observe, providing corrections and guidance, ensuring that each gladiator is prepared for the unpredictable challenges of the arena. The sounds of training are a constant reminder of the gladiator's dedication. The rhythmic thud of feet, the clang of metal on wood, the grunts of exertion, the sharp cries of instruction. These are the sounds of a life dedicated to combat. The training is relentless, demanding, and often brutal, but is also a source of pride and purpose for the gladiators. It is through this rigorous training that they develop not only their physical skills, but also their mental fortitude, their ability to endure pain, and their unwavering focus under pressure. The sweat, the blood, the calluses, and the scars all bear witness to their dedication and their unwavering commitment to mastering their craft. The weaponry is not just an extension of their bodies. It's an integral part of their identity, a symbol of their strength, skill, and determination. The techniques are not just movements. They are expressions of their will to survive, to conquer, and to earn the fleeting glory of the arena. The training is not just preparation for combat. It is a shaping of character, a forging of the warrior spirit that will ultimately define their lives and their legacies. The echoes of their training linger long after the sun sets over the ludus, a testament to the dedication and discipline that shaped these legendary warriors. The lanista, a figure both feared and respected, holds the fate of gladiators firmly in his grasp. He is more than just a trainer. He is a businessman, a manager, and in many ways, a master. His ludus, a gladiatorial training school, is his enterprise, a place where men are molded into weapons, their bodies and skills meticulously honed for the lucrative spectacle of the arena. Understanding the lanista is key to understanding the complex life of a gladiator. The lanista's business acumen is as crucial as his understanding of combat. He is responsible for acquiring gladiators, either through purchase, enslavement, or voluntary enrollment. He manages the finances of his school, negotiating contracts with arena promoters, and ensuring the profitability of his gladiatorial investments. This is a world of shrewd bargaining, careful calculation, and sometimes ruthless efficiency. He must carefully balance the costs of training and maintenance against the potential earnings of his gladiators. A successful lanista is a shrewd businessman, capable of maximizing profits while minimizing losses. The relationship between the lanista and his gladiators is a complex one, a blend of authority, investment, and, surprisingly, sometimes even a form of paternalistic concern. While the lanista is undeniably their master, holding considerable power over their lives, his success is intrinsically linked to their performance. A well-trained, victorious gladiator earns him significant rewards, while a defeated or injured one represents a loss of investment. This dynamic creates a curious tension, a delicate balance between discipline and incentive. The lanista invests heavily in his gladiators' training, recognizing that their success is his success. But the line between investment and ownership remains firmly drawn. The lanista's influence extends far beyond the walls of the ludus. He guides the gladiators' careers, choosing their opponents, managing their public image, and negotiating the terms of their contracts. He is their advocate, their manager, and often their only connection to the outside world. He determines which arenas they will fight in, carefully considering the potential risks and rewards. He helps them choose their weapons and fighting styles, recognizing their strengths and weaknesses and tailoring their training accordingly. He is the architect of their careers, shaping their destinies within the brutal confines of the arena. The lanista's methods, however, were not always benevolent. While some might have genuinely cared for the well-being of their gladiators, recognizing that their long-term success depended on their health and longevity, others were undoubtedly more ruthless. The pursuit of profit often dictated their actions, leading to potentially dangerous decisions, such as pushing gladiators beyond their limits or selecting opponents known for their brutality. The life expectancy of a gladiator was notoriously short, a grim reality that underscored the precarious nature of their existence. Consider the weight of responsibility resting on the Lanista's shoulders. He is responsible for the health, training, and performance of a group of men, each with their own strengths, weaknesses, and aspirations, all striving for success in a profession where death is a constant companion. The emotional toll on the Lanista must have been substantial, a constant balancing act between the demands of his business, the needs of his gladiators, and the expectations of the Roman public. He is a man caught in a web of complex relationships, navigating a world of brutal realities and high stakes. The Lanista's role in Roman society is often overlooked, yet their influence on gladiatorial lives is undeniable. They were the gatekeepers of a brutal profession, shaping the destinies of those who entered the arena. They were businessmen, trainers, managers, and, in some cases, perhaps even something akin to mentors, guiding their gladiators through the dangerous path of their careers. Their story is a complex one, interwoven with the fabric of gladiatorial life in ancient Rome, a testament to the multifaceted nature of this often misunderstood world. Their decisions, both ethical and ruthless, played a crucial role in shaping the lives and legacies of those who fought for their amusement and profit. The Lanista is a significant, if often overlooked, character in the drama of gladiatorial life. Their influence, both subtle and profound, shaped the lives of these warriors, leaving an indelible mark on the history of ancient Rome. Among the diverse ranks of Roman gladiators, the Murmillo stands out, a figure shrouded in both fear and respect. Their imposing presence, a testament to their formidable armor and weaponry, commanded attention in the arena. To understand the Murmillo is to understand a crucial element of gladiatorial combat, a style defined by its unique blend of defense and calculated aggression. Picture, if you will, the Murmillo in his full regalia. The helmet, a striking feature, was a distinctive piece of equipment, often adorned with a fish-shaped crest, giving rise to the belief that it was inspired by the helmets of Gallic warriors. This helmet, crafted from bronze or iron, provided substantial protection to the head and neck, a crucial advantage in the brutal arena battles. The visor, usually a narrow slit, offered limited visibility, emphasizing the need for precise timing and strategic movements. Beneath the helmet, the Murmillo's body was encased in a sturdy cuirass, a type of armor that covered the torso and offered significant protection against the blows of opponents. This cuirass, frequently made of segmented plates of metal, allowed for a degree of flexibility, essential for quick movements and effective defense. The armor, however, was not without its drawbacks. Its weight could be substantial, demanding considerable physical strength and stamina from the gladiator. The Murmillo's training regime was specifically designed to build and maintain the physical resilience necessary to contend with this cumbersome yet protective armor. The Murmillo's primary weapon was the gladius, a short sword renowned for its effectiveness in close-quarters combat. This weapon, sharply pointed and double-edged, was a symbol of the Murmillo's deadly precision. Its design was optimized for thrusting and slashing attacks, allowing for swift and decisive strikes. This weapon, wielded with skill and precision, was capable of inflicting devastating wounds, making the Murmillo a formidable opponent in the arena. In addition to the gladius, the Murmillo carried a large rectangular shield known as a scutum. This shield, often made of wood and reinforced with metal, provided substantial protection from the attacks of opponents. Its size and shape allowed the Murmillo to effectively deflect blows and maintain a defensive posture. The scutum was not just a shield. It was an extension of the Murmillo's body, a crucial element in his defensive strategy. Skilled Murmillos used their shields not only to block, but also to maneuver and control the flow of combat. The fighting style of the Murmillo was a blend of controlled aggression and calculated defense. Their armor and weaponry were designed to support a tactical approach, favoring a balance between offensive and defensive maneuvers. They would often begin an engagement by using their scutum to deflect the attacks of their opponents, creating an opening for a swift and decisive strike with their gladius. Their movements were deliberate, precise, and powerful, reflecting the rigorous training they had undergone. The Murmillo's strategy was not simply about brute force. It involved a high degree of skill and tactical awareness. They employed a range of techniques, from powerful thrusts and slashes to deft parries and blocks, all designed to overwhelm and subdue their opponents. The Murmillo's combat style was a testament to the discipline and precision required of the gladiators. The Murmillo's role in gladiatorial combats was significant. Their imposing appearance and effective fighting style made them a popular choice for arena promoters and a formidable opponent for other gladiators. The sight of a Murmillo entering the arena often elicited a roar from the crowd, a testament to their fearsome reputation and their ability to deliver spectacular and often decisive victories. Their battles were frequently the highlight of the games, their encounters providing thrilling displays of skill, strength, and strategy. The Murmillo's legacy extends beyond the blood-soaked sands of the arena. Their distinctive armor, weapons, and fighting style have become iconic symbols of gladiatorial combat, immortalized in art, literature, and popular culture. They represent a specific type of gladiator, a warrior whose strength and skill were matched only by the strategic brilliance of their combat approach. Their story is a testament to the complexity and nuance of gladiatorial life in ancient Rome, a world far more intricate than the simplistic image often presented. The Murmillo remains a powerful symbol, a reminder of the skill, courage, and calculated aggression required to survive in the brutal world of the Roman arena. Their legacy continues to fascinate and inspire, reminding us of the multifaceted nature of these ancient warriors. Now, let us turn our attention to a different kind of gladiator, one who relied less on brute force and heavy armor, and more on agility, cunning, and a surprising weapon, the retiarius. Unlike the heavily armored Murmillo, the retiarius presented a stark contrast, a figure of calculated grace and deadly precision. Their unique fighting style, dependent on speed and tactical brilliance, made them a captivating and often unpredictable presence in the arena. Imagine the retiarius stepping into the arena, a stark silhouette against the dust and sunlight. He is lightly clad, his body predominantly exposed, revealing a physique honed by years of rigorous training. His movements are fluid, almost dancer-like, a stark contrast to the lumbering gait of his more heavily armored opponents. His attire is simple yet functional, a short tunic, often colored to represent his ludus, or training school, and a shoulder guard, offering minimal protection to his upper body. His weaponry is as unique as his fighting style. In his left hand, he holds a reedy, a net, a deceptively simple weapon that, in the right hands, could be deadly effective. This net, crafted from strong fibers or even metal mesh, was designed to ensnare his opponent, immobilizing them and creating an opportunity for a decisive strike. The reedy was not just a weapon. It was a tool, an instrument of control, allowing the retiarius to dictate the flow of combat. In his right hand, he wields a trident, a three-pronged spear, a weapon as ancient as it is deadly. The trident, with its sharp points and long shaft, was capable of inflicting serious injuries, delivering thrusts and jabs with deadly accuracy. Its length offered a crucial advantage, allowing the retiarius to maintain a safe distance while still delivering powerful blows. The trident, combined with the net, allowed for a flexible and adaptable fighting style, capable of both offense and defense. The retiarius's fighting style was a study in contrasts, a blend of speed, agility, and calculated risk. His lack of armor made him vulnerable, but his speed and agility allowed him to evade the blows of his heavier armored opponents. He would dance around his opponent, using his superior mobility to avoid attacks and create opportunities to ensnare them with his net. Once his opponent was entangled, the retiarius would move in for the kill, using his trident to deliver the fatal blow. The encounter between Aridiarius and a heavily armored opponent, such as a Murmillo, was a fascinating spectacle. The contrast between their fighting styles was dramatic. The Murmillo, a fortress of muscle and metal, would lumber forward, his scutum held high, attempting to crush his nimble opponent. The Retiarius, however, would evade these attacks with deceptive ease, darting around the Murmillo's shield, using his agility to avoid direct confrontation. He would wait for the opportune moment, then unleash his net, attempting to trap his opponent, setting the stage for the final deadly strike. This dance of death was a testament to the Retiarius' skill and training. It was not simply a matter of brute strength. It required precision, timing, and a deep understanding of his opponent's movements. The Retiarius had to be quick, precise, and exceptionally skilled in order to overcome the significant advantage held by his heavily armored opponent. Their success depended on their ability to control the pace and flow of combat, turning their vulnerability into an advantage. The Retiarius' fighting style was a captivating spectacle for the Roman crowds. The contrast between their agility and the lumbering movements of their opponents provided a thrilling dynamic. Their battles were often unpredictable, full of dramatic moments of evasion, entrapment, and swift, decisive strikes. The Retiarius was not merely a gladiator. He was a performer, a master of his craft, capable of captivating the audience with his skill and daring. The Retiarius, despite his lack of armor, commanded respect in the arena. Their unique fighting style, their skill and agility, were a testament to the diversity of gladiatorial combat. They were a reminder that success in the arena was not solely dependent on brute force, but also on strategy, speed, and a mastery of one's chosen weapons. Their story, like that of the Murmillo and other gladiators, enriches our understanding of the complexity and richness of the gladiatorial world in ancient Rome, a world that went far beyond the simplistic image often portrayed. The Retiarius, with their net and trident, remain a captivating symbol of the tactical brilliance and deadly grace that define some of the most unforgettable gladiatorial encounters. Now, let's journey into the world of another fascinating gladiator type, the Thraex. Unlike the heavily armored Murmillo or the agile Retiarius, the Thraex presented a unique blend of defensive capabilities and offensive prowess, a testament to the diverse fighting styles that flourished within the Roman arenas. Their distinctive small shield, the parmula, played a crucial role in their fighting style, a style characterized by swift movements, calculated risks, and a relentless pursuit of victory. Picture the Thraex stepping into the arena's dust. He is less heavily armored than the Murmillo, yet more protected than the Retiarius. His attire, a practical blend of function and style, consisted of a short-sleeved tunic, often adorned with colors that identified as ludus or training school. A greave protected his left shin, while his right leg remained exposed, a testament to the emphasis placed on agility and mobility in their fighting style. A helmet, often adorned with a distinctive crest, protected his head, adding to his formidable appearance. But it is his shield, the parmula, that truly defines the Thraex. Unlike the large, rectangular scutum of the Murmillo, the parmula is smaller, round or slightly oval, and made of wood or leather reinforced with bronze or iron. Its smaller size allowed for greater mobility, enabling the Thraex to move more quickly and efficiently in the arena, dodging attacks, and creating opportunities for offensive maneuvers. This smaller shield was not a sign of weakness, but rather a strategic choice, reflecting a fighting style that prized agility and speed above all else. The parmula was more than just a shield. It was an extension of the Thraex's body, an integral part of their fighting technique. Its smaller size and lighter weight allowed for greater maneuverability, making it ideal for close-quarters combat, which was the Thraex's preferred fighting style. They used the parmula not just to block attacks, but also to deflect blows, redirecting their opponent's momentum and creating openings for their own attacks. The parmula acted as a conduit for their agility, allowing them to move with remarkable speed and precision. The Thraex's primary weapon was the gladius, a short sword, perfectly suited for close combat engagements. This sword, with its sharp point and double-edged blade, was a formidable weapon in the hands of skilled Thraex. They used the gladius with lethal efficiency, delivering quick, precise thrusts and slashes that could quickly end a fight. The combination of the parmula and the gladius created a formidable fighting style, one that emphasized speed, agility, and close-quarters combat. The Thraex's fighting style was a whirlwind of motion, a display of controlled aggression and calculated risk-taking. They would use their parmula to deflect blows, creating openings for their gladius, delivering quick, precise attacks before their opponent could react. Their agility and speed were their greatest assets, allowing them to weave through their opponent's attacks, using their smaller shield to gain an advantage in close quarters. They were masters of the close-range fight, turning their agility and the parmula's defensive capabilities into an offensive advantage. Their battles were a captivating spectacle, a dance of calculated risks and swift movements. The Thraex would move with remarkable speed and grace, using their agility to evade attacks and create opportunities for their gladius. They would use their smaller shield to deflect and redirect blows, turning their opponent's momentum against them. Their fights were often characterized by a relentless pursuit of their opponent, a relentless pressure that kept them on the defensive until the final, decisive blow. The Thraex, with their distinctive parmula and agile fighting style, represent a unique facet of gladiatorial combat. They were not merely warriors. They were masters of their craft, their skills honed through years of rigorous training. Their battles were a testament to the skill and precision required to succeed in the Roman arenas, showcasing the diversity and complexity of gladiatorial combat. The parmula, their small but strategically vital shield, became a symbol of their agility and skill, their ability to turn defense into offense in the heart of the arena. Their legacy remains as a reminder of the rich tapestry of fighting styles and tactical approaches that characterize this fascinating aspect of ancient Roman life. Their story, interwoven with the stories of other gladiators, helps us paint a more complete and nuanced picture of life in the Roman arenas, a life far removed from the simplistic notions often associated with gladiatorial combat. Imagine the roar of the crowd, a wave of sound washing over you, a tangible force pressing against your very being. The air itself vibrates with anticipation, a palpable energy that crackles in the Colosseum's vast arena. This isn't merely a contest of skill. It's a spectacle, a grand performance designed to captivate and enthrall the masses, a carefully orchestrated display of power, courage, and brutality. The games are not just about the gladiators. They are about the experience of the audience, a shared communion of excitement, suspense, and, ultimately, catharsis. The sun beats down on the sands of the arena, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air, catching the glint of polished bronze and the gleam of sweat on the gladiators' bodies. The arena itself is a marvel of engineering, a testament to Roman ingenuity, its tiers packed with spectators from all walks of life, their faces a tapestry of anticipation and excitement. The wealthy occupy the shaded seats closest to the action, while the commoners fill the upper levels. Their voice is a collective hum that rises and falls with the ebb and flow of the combat. Before the clash of steel, there's a pageantry, a carefully choreographed prelude to the violence to come. Music swells, perhaps a haunting melody played on pipes or lyres, setting a somber yet dramatic tone. Gladiators, their bodies oiled and gleaming, parade before the emperor or his representative, acknowledging their presence with a gesture of respect, a momentary truce before the storm of battle. The crowd erupts, a sea of faces turned toward the central figure of the arena, their cheers a symphony of anticipation. The atmosphere is thick with the scent of sweat, dust, and the anticipation of bloodshed. The air hangs heavy with expectation, a tension that is both exhilarating and unnerving. Each movement, each gesture is magnified, each breath held in anticipation of the impending clash. It's a ritualistic prelude to violence, a carefully crafted moment of suspense, where the anticipation is almost as powerful as the spectacle itself. The gladiators, too, are part of this spectacle, their very presence a testament to the power of the Roman state, their bodies sculpted instruments of entertainment. The games are more than just a fight. They are a carefully constructed narrative, with heroes and villains, triumphs and defeats. The crowd is deeply invested in the outcome, their emotions shifting from moment to moment, their cheers and jeers reflecting the tides of battle. A skilled gladiator can win the hearts of the crowd, turning their support into a tangible force that can influence the outcome of the fight. A well-executed maneuver, a display of exceptional skill, can elicit a thunderous roar of approval, while a lapse in judgment or a moment of weakness can bring forth a torrent of boos and jeers. The gladiatorial combat is a reflection of Roman society itself, a microcosm of its power structures, its values, and its anxieties. The games offer a release, a cathartic experience that allows the audience to vicariously experience the thrill of combat, the excitement of victory, and the despair of defeat. The audience identifies with the gladiators, their emotions mirroring the ebb and flow of the battle, their hopes and fears intertwined with the fate of the combatants. The emotional impact of the games is profound, a visceral experience that transcends the boundaries of mere entertainment. It's a shared experience, a collective catharsis that unites the diverse population of Rome, bridging the gaps of social class and economic status. The games provide a sense of community, a shared identity forged in the crucible of excitement and suspense. It's a powerful experience that leaves an indelible mark on the spectators, shaping their perceptions of power, glory, and the fragility of life. The spectacle, with its carefully orchestrated pageantry and intense moments of combat, is a powerful instrument of social control, a way of channeling the energies of the Roman populace, diverting their attention from the complexities of daily life. The games are a reminder of the emperor's power, a display of his authority and benevolence. They are also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a celebration of courage, skill, and the will to survive. The gladiatorial combat, though brutal, was a carefully choreographed spectacle, a reflection of Roman society, values, and social structures. The games were, in a way, a shared dream, a collective experience that transcended the harsh realities of Roman life. The memory of the spectacle, with its blend of violence and pageantry, lingers long after the echoes of the crowd have faded. The roar of the crowd wasn't merely background noise. It was a powerful force, a living entity that could sway the fate of gladiators as dramatically as the sharpest blade. More than just spectators, the Romans in the Colosseum were active participants in the drama unfolding before them. Their collective will capable of influencing the outcome of a fight and, ultimately, deciding a gladiator's life or death. Their cheers, their jeers, their very breaths held in anticipation, created an atmosphere thick with unspoken power, a pressure that weighed heavily on the combatants. Imagine the scene. Two gladiators locked in a desperate struggle, sweat stinging their eyes, muscles screaming in protest. One falters, momentarily losing his footing, his guard slipping for a fraction of a second. The crowd, sensing the shift in momentum, holds its breath, a collective gasp hanging in the air. A murmur ripples through the stands, a wave of sound that rises and falls with the gladiator's every move. Will the fallen warrior rise again? Or will he succumb to his opponent's attack? The crowd's reaction wasn't arbitrary. It was a finely tuned instrument of influence, reflecting the shifting fortunes of the fight and the emotional landscape of the arena. A well-executed maneuver, a display of exceptional skill, or even a flash of unexpected bravery could evoke a thunderous roar of approval, a wave of sound that bolstered the gladiator's spirit and, perhaps, even tipped the scales in his favor. It was a tangible form of support, a surge of energy that could give a weary warrior the strength to push on, to endure the pain, and continue the fight. Conversely, a mistake, a moment of hesitation, or a display of cowardice could unleash a torrent of boos and jeers, a wave of negativity that could undermine even the most experienced gladiator's confidence. The crowd's disapproval was a palpable force, a weight that could drag a warrior down, hindering his performance and making him more vulnerable to his opponent's attacks. The pressure was immense, the weight of thousands of eyes bearing down on him, judging his every move, his every breath. The power of the crowd extended beyond mere encouragement or discouragement. It had the ultimate authority to decide a gladiator's fate. At the culmination of a fight, the emperor or his representative would make the final decision, offering mercy or condemning the defeated warrior to death. However, this decision was often heavily influenced by the crowd's reaction. Their collective will express through a show of thumbs up or thumbs down. A thunderous roar of approval, a unified demand for mercy, could sway even the most ruthless emperor, softening their heart and granting the vanquished gladiator a chance to live. Conversely, a wave of anger, a collective cry for blood, could harden the emperor's resolve, sealing the defeated warrior's fate and sending him to his death. The crowd's influence was undeniable, a powerful force that could override even the emperor's personal judgment. The thumbs up or thumbs down wasn't just a simple gesture. It was a symbol of the crowd's collective power, a potent expression of their will. It was a ritualistic act, a decisive moment that determined the fate of a man, a life hanging in the balance, decided by the collective whim of thousands. The weight of that decision, borne by the crowd and ultimately reflected in the emperor's decree, makes the gladiatorial contest a chilling reminder of the power dynamics inherent in Roman society. The gladiators themselves were acutely aware of the crowd's influence, constantly monitoring their reactions, adjusting their tactics and performance to garner their favor. A skilled gladiator was not only a master of combat, he was also a master of showmanship, capable of captivating the crowd with his skill, his courage, and his charisma. He understood the nuances of crowd psychology, knowing when to push forward aggressively and when to adopt a more defensive posture, all in response to the shifting tides of the audience's approval. The gladiatorial games weren't just about physical prowess. They were a complex interplay of skill, strategy, and crowd manipulation. The gladiators' lives were inextricably linked to the whims of the crowd, their fates hanging in the balance, determined not only by their own abilities, but also by the collective will of the spectators. The cheers, the jeers, the thumbs up or down. These were not mere expressions of emotion. They were the instruments of power, shaping the narrative of the arena and deciding the fate of its gladiators. The crowd's influence was a constant, a palpable presence that shaped the very fabric of gladiatorial life. The roar of the crowd, the clash of steel, the spectacle of death. These were the hallmarks of Roman gladiatorial combat. Yet, beneath the surface of thrilling entertainment lay a darker reality. The manipulation of matches, the calculated rigging of contests to ensure a desired outcome, regardless of the gladiator's skill or merit. It wasn't always a fair fight, and the system was often stacked against those deemed less valuable or less favored. While the thrill of the unexpected was certainly part of the allure, the games were also a carefully orchestrated performance, and sometimes the script was written well in advance. The Lanisti, the owners and trainers of the gladiators, held considerable power, and they were not above manipulating the system to enhance the spectacle or protect their most valuable assets. Consider the potential for profit. A popular gladiator, one beloved by the crowds, was a valuable commodity, generating substantial revenue for his owner. Imagine a scenario where two gladiators, vastly different in skill and experience, are pitted against each other. One, a seasoned veteran, beloved by the crowd and consistently victorious, is matched against a newcomer, a less experienced fighter with little chance of victory. The outcome is hardly in doubt, yet the match proceeds. Why? The veteran's continued popularity provides financial gain for his lanista. The newcomer, regardless of the defeat, provides a spectacle, a contrast that highlights the veteran's prowess. It's a carefully calculated risk, a business decision dressed in the guise of entertainment. Or perhaps the lanista wishes to showcase a promising new gladiator, a rising star with the potential to become the next crowd favorite. To build this gladiator's reputation and hype, he might be matched against a weaker opponent, one easily defeated, ensuring a swift and decisive victory. This carefully orchestrated triumph builds the gladiator's confidence, enhances his popularity among the spectators, and increases his market value. The seemingly straightforward victory is a calculated step in his career progression. But the manipulation wasn't always so subtle. There were instances of deliberate sabotage, of weapons tampered with, of gladiators deliberately disadvantaged to ensure a more dramatic or desired outcome. A dull blade, a broken strap on a shield, a seemingly minor detail that could mean the difference between life and death. These were not accidents. They were calculated acts of manipulation, designed to control the narrative and ensure the desired outcome. Consider the potential for political maneuvering. Favoritism could be shown towards gladiators connected to powerful patrons, ensuring their success and enhancing the prestige of their sponsors. A rigged match could be a subtle, yet potent display of political power, a silent message sent through the violence of the arena. The games were more than just entertainment. They were a reflection of the complex power dynamics of Roman society. Furthermore, the very selection of gladiators for a particular match could be a form of manipulation. Certain pairings were deliberately chosen to create specific narrative arcs, heightening the drama and maximizing the entertainment value for the spectators. A seasoned warrior against a newcomer, a clash of styles, a rivalry fueled by previous encounters. All these elements could be carefully orchestrated to create a compelling spectacle. The system wasn't always fair, and the lives of gladiators were often at the mercy of those who controlled the games. The arena was a stage, and the matches were carefully choreographed performances, with the outcome often predetermined to serve the interests of the lanisti, the political elite, or the demands of the crowd. The brutality of the combat was undeniable, but it was often layered with a deeper, more insidious form of manipulation, a calculated control that overshadowed the individual skill and courage of the gladiators. The system, in its inherent unfairness, was a testament to the power dynamics and the calculated cruelty of Roman society. The cheers of the crowd, the thunder of applause, often masked the undercurrents of manipulation and control that shaped the destinies of these warriors. The dust settles on the sand of the arena, the cheers fading into a hushed murmur. The spectacle is over, but the aftermath lingers, a stark contrast to the thrilling violence that preceded it. For the gladiators, the battle is far from finished. The true test often begins after the final blow, after the crowd's judgment has been delivered. The physical toll of combat was immense, leaving its mark on the bodies of these warriors long after the fight concluded. Imagine the scene. A gladiator lies upon the sand, his body a canvas of wounds. Deep gashes, ragged tears in the flesh, mark the path of swords and spears. Broken bones, the sickening snap echoing in the aftermath of the clash, render limbs useless, twisted at unnatural angles. Concussions, the result of brutal blows to the head, leave him disoriented, the world a swirling blur of pain and confusion. These were not uncommon injuries. They were the grim realities of gladiatorial combat, the everyday risks these warriors accepted. Consider the specific injuries. A murmillo, with his large shield and sword, might suffer deep cuts from the retiarius trident or a crushing blow to the head from the opponent's net. The retiarius, nimble and agile, might receive a deep wound from the murmillo's sword or a crippling blow from a shield. Each fighting style, each weapon, presented its own unique set of dangers, its own potential for devastating injury. The sheer force of the blows, the weight of the weapons, the intensity of the struggle, all contributed to the severity of the injuries. Dislocations were frequent, the joints forced beyond their limits, leaving limbs twisted and unusable. Internal bleeding, unseen and often undetected until it was too late, was a silent killer, stealing strength and life from the wounded gladiator. The sheer exhaustion following a grueling contest further exacerbated the injuries, slowing healing and increasing the risk of infection. Medical care, if it can be called that, was rudimentary at best. The gladiators' survival often depended on their own resilience, their body's ability to heal, and the minimal interventions of the medicus. These physicians, though possessing some knowledge of anatomy and wound treatment, lacked the sterile environment and advanced techniques of modern medicine. Their interventions were limited to basic wound cleaning, the application of herbs and poultices, and perhaps the setting of broken bones, a process often painful and crude. Imagine the scene. A medicus, his tools simple and primitive, carefully cleaning a deep wound, scraping away debris, and attempting to staunch the bleeding. Herbs and poultices, concocted from a variety of plants and substances, are applied to the wound, hoping to soothe the pain and encourage healing. Broken bones are set, often without the benefit of anesthesia, the gladiators' cries echoing in the dimly lit infirmary. The process was painful and the outcome uncertain. Infection was a constant threat, a silent enemy that could easily overwhelm the body's defenses. Without antibiotics, even minor wounds could quickly turn septic, leading to severe illness and potentially death. The conditions in the gladiatorial barracks, often crowded and unsanitary, further increased the risk of infection. The lack of proper hygiene, the close proximity to others, and the prevalence of wounds all contributed to a dangerous environment where disease could easily spread. The recovery process was long and arduous. Days, weeks, or even months might pass before a gladiator could return to training, if ever. Some injuries were permanent, leaving the gladiator with lasting disabilities that would hinder their ability to fight, ending their career prematurely. The scars, both physical and emotional, were a constant reminder of the brutal reality of gladiatorial combat, a permanent testament to the risks these warriors took in the pursuit of glory or simply survival. The arena's roar might fade, but the echoes of pain and the memory of injuries remained. The roar of the crowd, a wave of sound crashing over the arena, is a testament to the power of spectacle. Yet, amidst the cheers and the cries, a paradox unfolds. The gladiator, a slave, a symbol of brute force, is also a hero, a celebrated figure, a source of fascination for the Roman populace. This duality, this complex interplay of power and vulnerability, is at the heart of the gladiator's story. Their lives, though often brutal and short, held the potential for immense fame and admiration, a remarkable achievement considering their status as property. Imagine a successful gladiator, his body honed to perfection through years of rigorous training, his movements fluid and precise, a testament to his dedication and skill. He stands triumphant in the arena, the dust settling around him, his weapon held high. The crowds roar a symphony of approval. This is not simply a display of strength. It's a performance, carefully crafted to captivate the audience, to evoke a sense of awe and wonder. The crowd's adoration wasn't simply a fleeting moment of entertainment. It was a powerful force that could shape a gladiator's destiny. A popular gladiator could amass wealth, acquire freedom, and even achieve a level of social status unimaginable for someone of their original background. Their victories became legendary, their names etched in the collective memory of Rome, their stories passed down through generations. Think of the legendary Spartacus, whose rebellion against Roman authority became a symbol of resistance and defiance. While his story is one of rebellion, it also highlights the power a gladiator could wield, not just in the arena, but also beyond its confines. His name, even centuries later, evokes images of courage and defiance, a testament to the enduring power of his legend. However, the path to fame was fraught with peril. Each contest was a gamble, a roll of the dice where victory could lead to glory, but defeat could mean death or continued enslavement. The gladiator's skill was crucial, but so was luck and the favor of the crowd. A single misstep, a moment of hesitation, could erase years of hard work and training in an instant. The public's fascination with gladiators stemmed from several sources. Their courage, their skill, and their willingness to risk their lives for the entertainment of the masses captivated the Roman populace. They were a spectacle, but they were also a reflection of Roman values, strength, resilience, and a willingness to confront danger. The gladiators, in a sense, became embodiments of Roman ideals, their triumphs celebrated as symbols of Roman power and dominance. Their stories were often embellished, their accomplishments magnified, creating a mythology around these warriors that transcended their reality. They were more than just slaves. They were symbols, representations of the power and glory of Rome itself. The names of successful gladiators resonated throughout the empire, becoming synonymous with skill and bravery. Their images were carved in stone, painted on pottery, and immortalized in literature and art. This fame was not only a source of personal pride, but also a valuable asset for their lanistae, who could profit from the popularity of their gladiators. Consider the potential for financial gain. A successful gladiator could earn substantial sums of money, not just from their victories, but also from sponsorships, endorsements, and the sale of merchandise bearing their name or image. This wealth could pave the way to freedom, allowing them to buy their release from slavery and establish a life beyond the arena. The path to freedom, however, was rarely straightforward. It often required a series of successful contests, a sustained level of popularity, and, sometimes, the generosity of wealthy patrons. Even then, the freedom gained was not always absolute. Many gladiators found themselves bound by obligations to their former owners or patrons, their lives still shaped by the arena shadow. The paradox remains: the gladiator, a slave, a warrior condemned to fight for his life, could also become a celebrated hero, a figure of immense popularity and wealth. Their story is a compelling blend of brutality and admiration, a testament to the complexities of Roman society and the enduring power of the human spirit. They were both victims and victors, slaves and heroes, their lives a reflection of the contradictory nature of the world they inhabited. Their legend continues, a whisper of glory from a distant past, a reminder of the enduring human fascination with courage, skill, and the drama of life and death. Beyond the dust and blood of the arena, beyond the roar of the crowd and the clash of steel, there existed another facet to the life of a Roman gladiator. While their primary function was undoubtedly combat, evidence suggests that some gladiators, particularly those who had achieved a certain level of fame or skill, also played ceremonial or non-combat roles within Roman society. These roles, though less dramatic than their arena performances, offer a glimpse into the multifaceted lives of these remarkable individuals. Imagine, for a moment, a successful gladiator, his body bearing the scars of countless battles, yet his presence commanding respect and admiration. He's no longer simply a fighter. He's a symbol of strength, a living embodiment of Roman ideals. This status might afford him opportunities beyond the confines of the arena, opportunities that reveal a deeper complexity to his existence. One such role might have involved participation in public processions or religious festivals. Visualize a triumphant procession winding its way through the streets of Rome, the rhythmic beat of drums and the cheers of the crowd providing a backdrop to the scene. Among the dignitaries and soldiers, imagine a group of gladiators, their armor gleaming in the sunlight, their presence lending an air of power and prestige to the occasion. Their participation wasn't merely for show. It was a demonstration of their status, a recognition of their contribution to Roman society, albeit a contribution steeped in violence. Consider the possibility of gladiators acting as bodyguards for wealthy patrons or influential figures. Their combat skills, honed through years of rigorous training, made them ideal protectors, their mere presence a deterrent against potential threats. This role allowed them to move within the higher echelons of Roman society, interacting with individuals who held considerable power and influence. It was a stark contrast to their life in the arena, yet a logical extension of their skills and the respect they commanded. Another intriguing possibility involved gladiators serving as instructors or trainers for aspiring fighters. Their experience, their knowledge of combat techniques, and their understanding of the human body made them uniquely qualified to prepare others for the brutal realities of the arena. This role provided a sense of purpose beyond their own fighting, a way to pass on their knowledge and skills, ensuring the continuity of gladiatorial traditions. The training process itself was rigorous and demanding physical and mental discipline. Gladiators-turned-instructors might have imparted not only fighting techniques, but also strategies for survival, tactics for overcoming opponents, and even mental fortitude to withstand the pressures of combat. It was a mentorship rooted in experience, a transfer of knowledge from one generation of gladiators to the next. Furthermore, the social interaction fostered through training could have provided a sense of community for these warriors. The shared experiences, the common goal, and the mutual respect forged in the crucible of combat could have created strong bonds among gladiators, transcending their status as slaves. This camaraderie, this sense of belonging, could have provided a much-needed counterpoint to the isolation and peril of their lives. It's also conceivable that some gladiators might have been employed in tasks requiring physical strength and endurance, such as construction work or other labor-intensive roles. Their physique, developed through years of rigorous training, made them well-suited for such tasks, and their skills might have been utilized in various aspects of Roman life beyond the arena. This is a less glamorous aspect of their lives, but a realistic possibility given the practical skills they possessed. Even in death, some gladiators attained a form of ceremonial role. Their funerals, though perhaps not always grand affairs, could have been occasions for public remembrance and the affirmation of their contributions. Their passing might have been marked with rituals and ceremonies that reflected their status and the impact they made on Roman society. Their memory, though fading over time, was not entirely erased. It persisted in the annals of Roman history, a testament to their lives and their unique place within Roman culture. In conclusion, while the arena undoubtedly dominated the lives of Roman gladiators, their roles extended beyond the clash of steel and the roar of the crowd. Their participation in ceremonial events, their employment as bodyguards or trainers, their contributions to construction or other labor, and even their funerals all paint a more complete and nuanced picture of these individuals. They were not simply slaves condemned to fight. They were warriors, athletes, trainers, and even, in some ways, societal figures, their lives more complex and multifaceted than the arena spectacle might initially suggest. Their stories, though often brutal, reveal the resilient human spirit and the surprising ways in which even those in the most challenging circumstances could find purpose and, in some cases, even a measure of honor and recognition. Picture this: the roar of the crowd, the scent of sweat and blood hanging heavy in the air, the clash of steel echoing through the arena. In the heart of this brutal spectacle, a gladiator stands victorious, his body weary, but his spirit soaring. But the fight is over, not just for this bout, but perhaps for his entire career. The moment of potential freedom is at hand, the granting of the rudis. The rudis, a simple wooden sword, held a profound significance in the world of Roman gladiators. More than just a piece of training equipment, it represented a symbol of retirement, a testament to survival, and, for some, the gateway to freedom. To receive the rudis was to be granted a unique kind of honor, a recognition of years of service, skill, and endurance in the arena. Imagine the weight of that wooden sword, not in its physical heft, but in the symbolic burden it carried. It was a tangible representation of a life lived on the edge, a life where death was a constant companion, yet a life that had somehow been navigated with remarkable skill and resilience. The rudis held the promise of a new chapter, a chance to leave behind the brutality and uncertainty of the arena and to step into a world of relative peace and quiet. The bestowal of the rudis was not a mere formality. It was a public ceremony, a moment of recognition before the cheering masses. The gladiator, his body bearing the scars of countless battles, would stand before the lanista, his trainer and owner, and perhaps even before the emperor himself. The atmosphere would have been thick with anticipation, a palpable sense of the future hanging in the balance. The crowd, who had witnessed the gladiators' triumphs and near deaths, would hold its breath, their collective emotions mirroring the momentousness of the occasion. The presentation of the rudis was more than just an act of awarding freedom. It was a gesture of respect. It acknowledged the gladiator's bravery, his skill, and his contribution to the entertainment of the Roman masses. It was a moment of transition, a symbolic passing from a life of danger and uncertainty to one that offered, at least in theory, a degree of stability and security. However, the path to freedom through the rudis was not always straightforward. The decision to grant a gladiator his retirement rested largely in the hands of the lanista, the owner who held the power of life and death over his gladiators. A lanista might grant the rudis to a particularly skilled and popular fighter, recognizing the financial benefits of a living legend versus a potential loss in the arena. Alternatively, a gladiator who had suffered debilitating injuries might be granted his freedom out of necessity rather than generosity. The rudis didn't automatically guarantee complete freedom. Even after receiving the wooden sword, a gladiator might still be bound by certain obligations to his lanista. He might be expected to continue training younger gladiators, passing on his expertise, or he might find himself working in other capacities for his former owner, perhaps as a trainer, coach, or instructor. The transition from fighter to civilian life was not always smooth or immediate. The rudis opened doors, but the path beyond them was still paved with challenges. The lives of gladiators who received the rudis varied greatly. Some might have chosen to settle down, perhaps starting a family, finding work as instructors, or even opening their own training schools. They might have used their accumulated wealth, earned through victories and the favor of patrons, to purchase their freedom and create a new life. Others, perhaps still fueled by the thrill of combat or lacking the resources to establish a new life, might have found themselves involved in other forms of fighting or security work. The rudis, therefore, was a symbol of hope, a testament to survival, and a bridge to a life beyond the arena. It was a symbol that represented more than just freedom from combat. It encapsulated the possibility of a new beginning, a chance to build a life on the foundations of skill, courage, and the respect earned through years of service in the most brutal of professions. The wooden sword, simple and unassuming, carried with it the weight of a life transformed, a journey from the arena's blood-soaked sands to the uncertainties and the possibilities of a new existence. It was a poignant reminder that even within the most brutal of systems, the possibility of hope and freedom could still emerge. The dust settles on the arena's sand, the roar of the crowd a fading echo. A gladiator lies still, his lifeblood staining the very ground he once commanded. Death in the arena was not a mere spectacle. It was a grim reality, a stark ending to a life lived on the razor's edge. But what happened in those final moments, and what became of the fallen warrior's body? The final moments varied greatly, depending on the nature of the wounds and the will of the emperor or the crowd. Sometimes a single decisive blow ended the fight swiftly, a merciful end to the brutal struggle. Other times, the death was slow and agonizing, a prolonged spectacle of pain and suffering. Watched by a sea of faces, their expressions a mixture of fascination, horror, and perhaps even a hint of morbid satisfaction. The gladiator might succumb to a multitude of injuries, a deep gash from a sword, a crushing blow from a mace, or a barrage of spears that pierced his armor. Imagine the chilling silence that follows the final breath, a stark contrast to the preceding cacophony of clashing steel and the roar of the crowd. The fallen gladiator, his body broken and still, lies sprawled upon the sand, his life force extinguished in the very heart of the arena. The air itself seems to hold its breath, the hushed expectancy broken only by the soft shuffle of feet as the arena staff approaches. The disposal of the body was a matter of practicality, dictated by Roman custom and the efficiency of the arena's operations. If the gladiator was deemed worthy of a proper burial, perhaps due to exceptional skill or bravery, His body might have been taken away for a funeral, a relatively rare occurrence reflecting the harsh realities of their lives. For those who died in obscurity, their bodies might be left in the arena for some time, a grim reminder of the ephemeral nature of life and the brutal realities of gladiatorial combat. A more common fate was disposal in the bestiarii, or the damnatio ad bestias, where the bodies were often left for wild animals to devour. The process, while brutal, was efficient and served a practical purpose. The arena's floor was a sacred space, and the prompt removal of bodies was essential for the swift continuation of the games. The bodies of fallen gladiators, therefore, were often hastily removed, their final resting place lost to the sands of time and the annals of forgotten history. The treatment of the bodies varied, depending on the status of the gladiator and the preferences of the emperor or the event organizers. Some were given minimal burial rites, while others might receive a more elaborate farewell. In some cases, the bodies were cremated, while in others they were buried. The surviving records are inconsistent and incomplete, leaving a considerable gap in our understanding of the exact processes employed for disposing of the bodies of fallen gladiators. The very arena itself, a place of both brutal spectacle and fleeting glory, served as a silent witness to countless deaths. Its sands, stained with the blood of warriors, held the silent memories of countless final breaths, the last moments of men who lived and died by the sword. The arena's very stones echoed with the fading whispers of lost lives, a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of existence and the ultimate price paid by these warriors in their pursuit of glory, freedom, or simple survival. The silence after the final clash of steel was not just the absence of sound. It was a profound emptiness, a void left by the extinguished life of a gladiator. It was a moment of stark reality that pierced through the spectacle, a reminder of the human cost behind the arena's bloody drama. Even in death, the gladiator remained a part of the arena's narrative, his life and death etched into its very fabric. The sands themselves bore witness, holding the silent stories of those who fell, forever linked to the brutal yet captivating spectacle of the Roman games. The death of a gladiator was not merely a moment. It was a process, a transition from the brutal reality of the arena to the silent anonymity of the afterlife. The details of this transition remain largely shrouded in the mists of time. Yet the stark reality of death in the arena remains a powerful and haunting reminder of the lives and sacrifices made by these ancient warriors. Their final moments, their disposal, their fate, all are fragments of a larger puzzle, a testament to the human cost of civilization's fascination with death and glory. The sands of the arena, stained crimson with the blood of countless battles, eventually yielded to the quiet dignity of the earth. For the gladiator, life was a brutal dance with death, but even in death, a certain measure of respect, or the stark absence of it, could be afforded. The burial practices of Roman gladiators, shrouded in the mists of time, offer a fascinating glimpse into the complexities of their lives and the societal views of these warriors. The fate of a gladiator's body after death varied considerably, a reflection of their social standing and the whims of fortune. For those who perished in the arena's dust, their final resting place often depended not on their bravery or skill, but rather on the sheer randomness of circumstance. A swift, decisive death might have merited a modicum of respect, perhaps a simple burial outside the city walls, a quiet farewell in the shadow of the very arena that had witnessed their demise. However, for the vast majority, the immediate aftermath was far less dignified. Their bodies might have been left to decay in the arena, a gruesome spectacle for the scavengers and a stark reminder of the brutal realities of gladiatorial combat. Others were disposed of more efficiently, their bodies hastily removed to maintain the smooth flow of the games, their final resting places lost to the sands of time. For these fallen warriors, oblivion was swift and complete, their lives fading into the anonymity of the arena's bloody history. But for some, fate offered a different path. The exceptionally skilled, the remarkably popular, or those who had risen through the ranks to achieve a measure of fame, or even freedom, might have received a more dignified burial. These gladiators, often hailed as heroes by the crowd, might have been afforded a proper funeral, a testament to their achievements and a testament to their public recognition. Imagine the scene: a procession winding its way through the bustling streets of Rome, mourners following behind a bier carrying the body of a celebrated gladiator. The air would be thick with the scent of incense and the somber sounds of lamentation, a stark contrast to the boisterous atmosphere of the arena. The funeral might have been simple or elaborate, depending on the resources of the gladiator or his patron. The burial itself could have been a private affair or a public spectacle, attracting a crowd eager to pay their last respects to a fallen warrior. The location of the burial also varied. Some might have been laid to rest in dedicated cemeteries, while others were buried in family plots or on private lands. The exact locations of these resting places remain largely unknown, lost to the ravages of time and the relentless growth of the city. Archaeological discoveries have occasionally revealed the remains of gladiators, offering tantalizing glimpses into their lives and deaths. But these findings are rare and often fragmented. The grave goods accompanying the burial could also offer clues about the gladiator's status. Those who died in relative obscurity might have been buried with minimal possessions, while those of higher status might have been laid to rest with more elaborate items, such as weapons, jewelry, or personal belongings. These artifacts, if discovered, would provide invaluable insights into their lives and the level of respect they were afforded, even in death. The burial practices of Roman gladiators, therefore, were not uniform, but rather reflected a spectrum of possibilities, ranging from the stark anonymity of a hastily disposed body to a more formal and dignified burial. These practices offer a poignant reminder of the complexities of their lives, the stark contrast between the brutal reality of the arena and the quiet dignity of the afterlife. The stories of their burials, though fragmented and incomplete, add another layer of understanding to the lives of these remarkable warriors, whose stories continue to echo through the sands of time. The silence that follows the roar of the crowd, the stillness that replaces the clash of steel, the quiet dignity of the earth embracing the body of a gladiator. These are moments of poignant reflection, a testament to the human experience, even within the brutal context of the Roman arena. Their lives and deaths, though often obscured by the mists of time, continue to captivate and intrigue, reminding us that even within the spectacle of violence, the human heart seeks solace, remembrance, and a measure of peace, even in death. The stories of their burials, whispered on the winds of time, are a testament to the enduring human need for remembrance and a fitting end to the lives of these remarkable warriors. The roar of the crowd fades, the clash of steel silences, and the dust settles on the arena floor. For the gladiator, the final curtain falls, but the question remains: what echoes beyond the final breath? Did their life, lived on the razor's edge of glory and death, resonate through time, or did it vanish like a whisper in the wind? The path to posthumous fame or oblivion was as unpredictable as the arena itself. For some, the cheers of the multitude were but the prelude to an enduring legacy. These were the gladiators who transcended the brutal reality of their profession, becoming figures of myth and legend. Their names, etched in the annals of history, though often fragmented and incomplete, whispered through generations, a testament to their extraordinary skill, unmatched courage, or captivating personality. Imagine a gladiator, renowned for his unmatched prowess with the reedy and trident, his every move a symphony of deadly grace. His victories, celebrated with wild abandon by the Roman populace, became fodder for bards and poets, his name chanted in taverns and sung in amphitheaters long after his final breath. His legend grew, embellished with each retelling, his image immortalized in mosaics, frescoes, and sculptures, his story echoing through the ages, a testament to the power of exceptional skill and captivating charisma. Their stories were not just tales of brute strength and savagery. They were narratives of resilience, of perseverance, of a will to survive that transcended the brutal confines of their existence. They became symbols of courage, embodying the spirit of Rome itself, a potent mix of violence and virtuosity, strength and artistry. Their lives, though tragically short, left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape, shaping perceptions and inspiring awe for centuries to come. However, for the vast majority of gladiators, the path led not to immortal glory, but to the silent anonymity of oblivion. They were nameless faces in a sea of warriors, their lives a blur of training, combat, and fleeting moments of recognition. Their deaths, as swift and brutal as their lives, left little trace in the historical record, their names swallowed by the sands of time. They were cogs in the grand machine of entertainment, their existence measured not in years, but in the number of combats fought and the fleeting moments of applause. The arena, a stage for their fleeting lives, offered no guarantees of lasting fame. One moment, they were cheered to the rafters. The next, they were forgotten, their stories lost to the relentless march of time. Their names, if ever known, were quickly replaced by new contenders, new stars in the brutal firmament of the gladiatorial world. Their contributions to the spectacle, though essential, were often swallowed by the relentless churn of the arena's cycles of violence and entertainment. The stark contrast between lasting fame and complete oblivion underscores the precarious nature of a gladiator's existence. One misstep, one unfortunate encounter, could erase a lifetime of training and combat from the pages of history. Their lives, lived on the edge of a blade, could end as swiftly as they began, leaving behind no more than a fleeting memory, a faint whisper in the wind. The silence that follows the final combat, the absence of applause, the weight of oblivion. These were the realities that awaited most gladiators. Their legacy, if any, was etched not in stone or marble, but in the fading memories of those who had witnessed their fleeting moment of glory. Their stories, though lost to history, serve as a poignant reminder of the countless lives consumed by the Roman spectacle, their names forever lost in the shadows of the arena. The sands of time, relentless and unforgiving, have erased the names of countless gladiators from the pages of history. They remain anonymous figures in the grand narrative of Rome, their lives and deaths swallowed by the vast expanse of time. Yet, their collective story persists, a testament to the human spirit's resilience and its capacity for both extraordinary achievement and tragic anonymity. Their story serves as a reminder of the ephemeral nature of fame and the enduring power of oblivion. The clash of steel and the roar of the crowd masked a darker reality within the gladiatorial world, a web of corruption, bribery, and exploitation that cast a long shadow over the lives of these warriors. While the arena presented a spectacle of skill and brutality, behind the scenes, a different kind of battle raged, a battle fought not with swords and shields, but with gold and deceit. The Lanisti, the men who owned and trained the gladiators, held immense power, their influence extending far beyond the training grounds. They were not merely trainers. They were businessmen, and their profits depended on the outcome of the games. This created fertile ground for corruption, a system where the integrity of the contests was often sacrificed at the altar of personal gain. Bribery was a common practice, its tendrils weaving through every aspect of gladiatorial life. A lanista might bribe a referee to influence a decision, ensuring a favorable outcome for their gladiator, regardless of skill or merit. Bets were placed, fortunes wagered, and the fate of a warrior could be sealed not by his own strength and courage, but by the clandestine dealings of those in power. The air hung heavy with the scent of intrigue, a silent conspiracy playing out beneath the surface of the public spectacle. Match-fixing was not merely a possibility, it was a grim reality. A lanista might arrange for a seemingly fierce battle to be a carefully orchestrated sham, ensuring the victory of a favored gladiator, or perhaps even arranging a predetermined loss for a warrior deemed expendable. The outcome of a contest was often less a matter of skill and more a reflection of the intricate web of power and influence that controlled the gladiatorial world. The arena, in this light, became less a stage for fair combat and more a stage for elaborate manipulation and calculated deception. The exploitation of gladiators was rampant, woven into the very fabric of the system. Many gladiators were slaves, their lives entirely at the mercy of their owners. The Lanisti often treated their gladiators with brutal indifference, prioritizing profit over their well-being. Food, training, and medical care were often inadequate, leaving the gladiators vulnerable to injury and disease. Their lives were precarious, their futures uncertain, their bodies and souls commodities to be bought, sold, and exploited for the amusement of the wealthy and powerful. The system was inherently unjust, favoring those with wealth and influence. A wealthy patron could bribe a lanista to favor a particular gladiator, ensuring their victory even against a more skilled opponent. This created an uneven playing field where the outcome of the contest was often predetermined, undermining the principles of fair combat and skill. The gladiators themselves, caught in this web of corruption, were left with few options, their lives perpetually teetering on the knife's edge of survival. Beyond the financial incentives, the threat of violence and intimidation loomed large. A lanista could easily punish a gladiator who refused to comply with their demands through brutal training regimes, withholding of food and medical care, or even resorting to violence. The gladiators, trapped within this system, often had little choice but to accept the corrupt practices, risking their lives in a game rigged against them. The arena, a symbol of glory and spectacle to the public, was for them a cage of exploitation and fear. The stories of corruption and bribery within the gladiatorial system paint a stark picture of the realities behind the spectacle. The glamour and glory of the arena were often overshadowed by a darker reality, one of manipulation, exploitation, and the relentless pursuit of profit. The lives of the gladiators, already filled with peril and uncertainty, were further complicated by the clandestine dealings of those who controlled their destinies. Their fates were sealed not only by their skill with weapons, but also by the corrupt machinations of the powerful, a chilling reminder of the darker side of ancient Rome's grand spectacle. The echoes of these manipulations linger, a testament to the enduring power of corruption and its devastating impact on the lives of those caught in its web. The roar of the crowd, the clash of steel, the spectacle of blood, these were the hallmarks of the Roman gladiatorial games. But beneath the surface of this thrilling entertainment lay a brutal reality, a system built upon the dehumanization of its participants and a casual disregard for their lives. The gladiators, often stripped of their names and identities, became mere instruments of amusement, their very existence reduced to the fleeting moments of glory or the agonizing throes of defeat. The training itself was a brutal affair, a relentless process designed to mold men into weapons. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months, each day a cycle of grueling physical exertion, relentless drills, and the constant threat of injury. The Lanisti, the owners and trainers of the gladiators, wielded absolute power, their methods often cruel and arbitrary. Punishments for disobedience or perceived weakness were swift and severe, a reminder of the precarious position of these warriors. Their bodies, honed to perfection for combat, were simultaneously instruments of violence and victims of unrelenting hardship. The gladiators were often drawn from the ranks of slaves, criminals, and prisoners of war. Their origins, their past, their identities, these were often erased, replaced by a single, brutal label, gladiator. They were stripped of their names, their families, their histories, reduced to mere fighting machines, their humanity systematically eroded by the system that consumed them. The arena became a stage not only for combat, but also for the systematic dehumanization of these individuals, their value measured solely by their ability to entertain the masses. The casual disregard for their lives was perhaps the most chilling aspect of the gladiatorial system. Death was a constant companion, a grim reality that hung over every contest. The crowds, eager for blood and spectacle, reveled in the violence, their cheers, and jeers a testament to the brutal indifference of the system. The gladiators, aware of their mortality, fought not only for survival, but also for a fleeting moment of glory, a chance to escape the anonymity and despair of their existence. The system was designed to maintain a constant supply of fresh gladiators, ensuring that the games could continue without interruption. The lives of these warriors were expendable, their deaths often treated as mere inconveniences, quickly swept aside to make way for the next contest. The arena became a place where lives were lost and won with equal ease. The value of a gladiator's existence measured not by his inherent worth, but by his ability to provide entertainment. Even victory did not guarantee safety or security. A successful gladiator, while potentially earning fame and fortune, remained a commodity, his life still at the mercy of his owner. Retirement, if it came at all, was often a precarious existence, far removed from the glamour and excitement of the arena. The brutality of the system continued to permeate every aspect of a gladiator's life, from training to combat to the often uncertain prospect of eventual freedom. The casual acceptance of death within the gladiatorial system speaks volumes about the values and attitudes of Roman society. The spectacle of violence was not just tolerated, it was celebrated, a testament to the brutal and often callous nature of the times. The gladiators, despite their skill and courage, remained victims of a system that valued entertainment above human life. Their stories, echoing through the ages, serve as a stark reminder of the inhumanity inherent in a system that reduced men to mere instruments of violence and entertainment. The echoes of the gladiatorial games resonate through history, a testament to the brutality and dehumanization that defined this ancient spectacle. The stories of these warriors, stripped of their individuality and subjected to a life of relentless violence, serve as a sobering reminder of the fragility of human life and the enduring power of systems that prioritize entertainment over compassion. Their struggles, their triumphs, and their tragic fates continue to inspire awe and sorrow, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming adversity. The gladiators, though long gone, continue to remind us of the importance of valuing human life above all else. Imagine the colossal strength, the explosive speed, the unwavering endurance required of a Roman gladiator. To achieve such a formidable physique, their diet wasn't a matter of mere sustenance. It was a meticulously crafted regimen designed to fuel their bodies for the brutal demands of the arena. It was a diet that combined practicality with an understanding of the nutritional needs of peak athletic performance, a nutritional science surprisingly advanced for its time. The cornerstone of a gladiator's diet was barley, the staple grain of the Roman Empire. This provided the necessary carbohydrates for sustained energy, fueling their rigorous training and the intense physical exertion of combat. Barley was often cooked into porridge, a simple but effective method to provide a readily available source of energy. This hearty breakfast would prepare them for the day's arduous training, ensuring they had the stamina to endure the intense physical demands. Alongside barley, legumes such as beans and lentils formed a significant part of their meals. These provided essential protein, crucial for building and repairing muscle tissue, essential for recovery after intense training. Legumes, rich in fiber, also contributed to digestive health, a vital aspect often overlooked in the pursuit of brute strength. The combination of barley and legumes provided a balanced foundation for their daily caloric intake. Meat, though not always abundant, played a pivotal role in the gladiators' diet. Beef, pork, and poultry provided additional protein, further supporting muscle growth and repair. The type and quantity of meat consumed likely varied, depending on the resources available to the lanista and the individual gladiator status. Yet, meat remained a key component in the pursuit of physical prowess. Fruits and vegetables, though possibly less prominent than the grains and meats, still held their place in a gladiator's diet. These provided essential vitamins and minerals, supporting overall health and well-being and preventing deficiencies that could compromise their performance. The specific types of fruits and vegetables would vary depending on seasonality and availability, reflecting the agricultural practices of the time. This natural component provided crucial micronutrients to complement the macronutrients from the other food sources. Cheese, another source of protein, likely featured in the gladiator's diet. This provided a concentrated source of protein and calcium, contributing to both muscle strength and bone health. Cheese, readily available and easily preserved, would have been a convenient and nutritious addition to their meals. Its rich flavor would have been a welcome change from the more monotonous staples of their diet. Olives and olive oil were key components, offering healthy fats and providing a significant source of calories. These fats were essential for energy production and the absorption of vital nutrients. Olive oil, a staple of the Mediterranean diet, also added flavor and texture to their meals, making their diet more palatable. The healthy fats contributed to both energy and overall well-being. Wine, surprisingly, played a significant role in a gladiator's diet. It wasn't solely for recreation. It served as a source of hydration and, in moderation, could have provided some health benefits. Wine, common in Roman society, likely formed part of their meals, offering a drink to accompany their food. However, moderation would have been crucial to avoid the impairment of physical performance. The timing and frequency of meals likely followed a routine dictated by their training schedule. Larger meals were probably consumed before and after training sessions, providing the energy needed for exertion and the nutrients required for recovery. Smaller meals or snacks throughout the day would have helped maintain energy levels between training periods. This careful timing maximized the nutritional benefits of their diet. Water was, of course, essential. Maintaining adequate hydration was crucial for physical performance and overall health. The availability and quality of water would have varied greatly depending on location and time of year. But access to a sufficient supply of clean water would have been a priority for the Lanisti to ensure the gladiators remained in peak physical condition. It's important to note that the specific details of a gladiator's diet remain subject to scholarly debate. Historical sources offer glimpses into their lifestyle, but the precise composition of their daily meals remains somewhat elusive. However, the overall picture suggests a diet carefully designed to support the extreme physical demands of their profession. Considering the brutal nature of gladiatorial combat, the diet was a carefully calculated strategy, a crucial element in their preparation for the arena. It was a diet of strength, endurance, and resilience, a reflection of the demanding lifestyle of these ancient warriors. Their dietary regime wasn't just about survival. It was about maximizing their physical potential, preparing them to face the challenges of the arena with the greatest possible strength and stamina. It was a diet designed to forge warriors, capable of enduring the unimaginable. The world of Roman gladiators wasn't a monolithic entity. It possessed a complex social hierarchy, a subtle yet significant stratification of status and treatment. While all gladiators shared the common thread of facing death in the arena, their lives varied considerably based on factors such as skill, class origin, and perhaps surprisingly, popularity with crowds. At the apex of this hierarchy stood the champion gladiators, the celebrated stars of the arena. These weren't merely skilled fighters. They were charismatic performers who captivated the audience, their names echoing through the stands with every thunderous roar. Their victories weren't just about survival. They were masterful displays of technique, strategy, and showmanship, weaving a tapestry of skill and spectacle that entranced the spectators. These champions enjoyed a privileged existence compared to their less fortunate brethren. They often received better equipment, more nutritious food, and more comfortable living quarters. Their training regimens were tailored to refine their already exceptional skills, pushing them to ever greater heights of mastery. Their lanista invested heavily in their success, recognizing the significant financial returns that a champion gladiator could bring. The champions also enjoyed a degree of respect and admiration that extended beyond the arena walls. Their names were known throughout Rome, their faces adorning pottery and frescoes, their victories celebrated in songs and poetry. This fame translated into a degree of autonomy and influence, granting them a level of respect and recognition rarely afforded to other gladiators. Their social standing was elevated, a testament to their accomplishments and popularity. Below the champions resided a diverse range of gladiators, each occupying a different rung on the hierarchical ladder. Their status often reflected their origin and initial circumstances. Some were freemen who had chosen the gladiator's path, seeking fame, fortune, and perhaps even freedom. Others were condemned criminals, their lives forfeit to the arena's brutal spectacle. The condemned gladiators often faced harsher conditions, lacking the privileges and resources available to their more fortunate counterparts. Skill played a crucial role in determining a gladiator's standing within the hierarchy. Those who consistently demonstrated prowess in combat, showcasing exceptional skill and tactical awareness, gradually rose through the ranks. Their victories earned them recognition, better equipment, and improved living conditions. Their advancement reflected their dedication, talent, and ability to survive the arena's deadly trials. Popularity with the crowds also significantly impacted a gladiator's social standing. A gladiator who captivated the audience, whether through skill, charisma, or sheer audacity, could quickly rise in popularity. The crowd's favor translated into better treatment, more lucrative contracts, and increased chances of survival. Public opinion held sway, influencing the Lanista's decisions and shaping the gladiator's destiny. The Lanista, the gladiator's owner and trainer, wielded significant power over the hierarchy. They controlled resources, allocated training opportunities, and ultimately decided which gladiators would fight and under what conditions. Their decisions were often influenced by financial considerations, seeking to maximize profits by carefully managing their gladiators' careers. The Lanista was the ultimate arbiter of a gladiator's social standing within his stable. Even within the same fighting style, differences in skill and experience led to variations in status. A seasoned Murmillo, for example, with a record of numerous victories, would occupy a higher position than a novice, regardless of their potential. Experience and success were crucial determinants of social standing, reflecting the accumulated knowledge and honed skills developed over years of combat. The social hierarchy among gladiators wasn't static. It was dynamic and fluid. A gladiator could rise or fall depending on their performance in the arena, their popularity with the crowds, and the whims of their lanista. A string of victories could catapult a gladiator to fame, while a single defeat could drastically diminish their status. The arena was a stage where reputation and fortune were constantly in flux. The social dynamics within the gladiatorial world were intertwined with a broader Roman society. The popularity of certain gladiators extended beyond the arena, influencing public perception and even impacting political circles. A champion gladiator could become a symbol of power and influence, transcending the confines of the gladiatorial world. Ultimately, the social hierarchy among gladiators reflected the inherent inequalities of Roman society. The gladiators, though sharing the common fate of facing death in the arena, experienced vastly different lives based on their skills, origins, and the capricious nature of fortune. Their stories underscore the complex interplay of skill, circumstance, and popularity in shaping their lives within the brutal world of Roman gladiatorial combat. The arena, a stage of life and death, was also a microcosm of the Roman world itself, reflecting its societal structures and inequalities. As the echoes of the cheering crowds fade into the quiet of the past, we reflect on the extraordinary lives of the Roman gladiators. Their story transcends the brutal spectacle of the arena, revealing a complex tapestry of human experience woven into the fabric of ancient Rome. From the grueling training regimens that honed their bodies into instruments of war to the intricate social hierarchy that governed their lives, we have glimpsed a world both terrifying and surprisingly nuanced. The gladiators were not simply mindless combatants. They were individuals with diverse backgrounds, skills, and aspirations. Some were condemned criminals, their lives forfeit to the whims of fate. Others were ambitious freemen who sought glory and fortune in the arena. Each carried their own story, their own hopes and fears, into the heart of the Colosseum's deadly embrace. Their lives, though often short and violently ended, were not devoid of human complexity. The system that governed their lives was undeniably brutal, a system built on dehumanization and the exploitation of vulnerable individuals. Yet, within this harsh reality, the gladiators displayed remarkable resilience, forging bonds of camaraderie and loyalty amongst themselves. Their training wasn't merely physical. It fostered a sense of discipline, teamwork, and mutual respect amongst these warriors bound together by shared fate. The dietary restrictions, the relentless training, the constant threat of injury and death, these were the harsh realities of their existence. But amidst the brutality, there were moments of triumph, of fleeting glory, of unexpected freedom. The roar of the crowd, the thrill of victory, the possibility of earning their freedom. These moments, however fleeting, offered glimmers of hope amidst the darkness. These were the rewards that fueled their relentless pursuit of survival and success in the arena. Consider the meticulous planning of their diets, a testament to the understanding of human physiology and the need for peak physical condition. Every morsel of food, every drop of water, served a purpose, contributing to the strength and endurance necessary for survival in the arena. Their physical prowess wasn't simply the result of brute strength. It was a testament to discipline, planning, and a deep understanding of the human body. The gladiatorial games were more than mere spectacles. They were a reflection of Roman society itself, a microcosm of its power structures, its social inequalities, and its fascination with violence and spectacle. The gladiators' social hierarchy mirrors the broader Roman social structure, highlighting the intricate layers of power and influence that governed Roman life. Their lives were a reflection of the values and priorities of their time, a stark reminder of the complexities of the ancient world. The lives of Roman gladiators remind us of the enduring human spirit, the capacity for resilience and hope even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Their stories are not just tales of brutality and death. They are tales of human endurance, of camaraderie, and of the unexpected resilience of the human spirit. Their legacy is not only the spectacle of the arena, but also a testament to the human ability to find meaning and purpose even amidst the most brutal of circumstances. Their lives were marked by a constant tension between the individual's quest for survival and the system's demands for spectacle. The gladiators existed at the intersection of entertainment and human sacrifice, their very lives a commodity to be bought, sold, and exploited. Their existence was a stark reminder of the harsh realities of ancient Roman society, where the line between entertainment and barbarity blurred into a chilling spectacle. The sounds of clashing steel, the cries of the crowd, the roar of the lions, these are the sounds that define the gladiatorial games in our collective memory. Yet, beyond the sounds of combat, lies a deeper understanding of these individuals, of their courage, their skill, and their shared humanity. Their stories are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there exists an enduring capacity for strength, hope, and human connection. As we close this chapter on the lives of Roman gladiators, let us remember them not simply as instruments of entertainment, but as complex individuals who navigated a brutal system with remarkable resilience. Their stories are a powerful reminder of the enduring human capacity for courage, loyalty, and the indomitable spirit that transcends even the most challenging circumstances. Their legacy is a complex mix of blood and sweat, of brutality and resilience, of entertainment and human sacrifice. Let their tales serve as a timeless reminder of the enduring power of the human spirit.